Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green, playing in the prestigious European International Cup against FC Twente of the Netherlands. I've seen them play in real life, FC Twente. It was a very enjoyable match. Today I'm going to solve a problem. This problem comes from Kelly, who writes, I have a fear of driving. I'm not so much afraid of getting hurt, but more afraid that I'm going to hurt or kill someone. I'm a very anxious person and I'm easily distracted. I also feel like it's just too much power for a 16-year-old to deal with. Help! How do I get over this? Okay. So, first off, I mean, you should be worried. Like, 16-year-olds are responsible for more accidents than people, I think, at any other age. So, it is appropriate to be worried. Also, cars, as you say, are scary and powerful and big. I remember this, actually, when I first started driving. I was extremely afraid all of the time that I was going to get into a car accident and hurt somebody or myself or someone I loved, and it was terrifying. And I could not believe I shared your absolute astonishment, Kelly, that 16-year-olds were allowed to drive these, gigantic death machines. But that is the law in our country. At least in most states, I think. In some states, I think you only have to be like 12. Like Montana, I think if you can see over the steering wheel, they let you drive a car at 95 miles an hour down the highway. But the thing about driving, and this is similar to other things about being a person. Went over the bar. The thing about driving is that being nervous about driving does not make you a better driver. Now, being cautious about driving, being a defensive driver, makes you a better driver, but being super anxious about driving does not make you a better driver, because it means that you will have a hair trigger in situations where you don't need to. You might slam on your brakes when you don't need to. That could result in it. Oh, good God, Rafa. Meredith, how are we going to have him as a goalkeeper for an entire season? I mean... For the love of God, Raffo! Come on! Raffo! Close your flipping legs! Smurger. By the way, we gotta tie this game to go into the semifinals of this imaginary competition where we can win $2.8 million, which would be very useful for the transfers I need to sign, especially in the field of goalkeeper. Raffo. God. Come on. It was ludicrous. Oh no. At least they can't finish. My point is that being an anxious driver doesn't necessarily make you a better driver, because if you go into every intersection feeling worried, you can make problems for other drivers. And the weird thing about being 16 is that you can't be as good of a driver as you will one day be, because you haven't seen enough what are called edge cases, like things that don't happen often, but do happen often enough that you can be prepared for them if you've seen them a lot of times. And there's no amount of there's just no substitute for real life experience on that front. But I don't know that the problem would be that different if you started driving when you were 18 or when you were 21. Like, whenever you start driving, it's always going to be uncomfortable at first. You're always going to feel like, I can't believe that this gigantic machine is being controlled primarily by me, an idiot. On the other hand, everyone feels that way. I still feel like I can't believe that I'm allowed to drive this car. It seems that this car should it doesn't seem like I should have this much power over the world. Like, there's very few places where you can actually hurt someone without malice in life. There's not a lot of places where you could cause serious damage just from a moment of negligence. Like, if I, And so driving is scary. What I want to say to you, I guess, Kelly, is that driving should be scary. But it shouldn't be so scary that it causes you to be less of a... Please do not call a penalty for that. Oh, it's halftime. Okay. Well, I was very upset for a second. You shouldn't be so scared of driving that it causes you to be less of a good driver. And if you are, that's okay. Nobody's going to be mad at you. I'm going to make some substitutions at halftime just because I'm disgusted with the way everyone on the pitch is playing. I can't substitute out Raffo on account of not having another substitution. I'm actually going to put... I want to put Alfie Egan in the game, but I don't know where I want to put him in the game, and I don't really want to take out Lyle Taylor. I'm just going to do that for now, and we'll see. And if you feel like you are at a point where your driving is more dangerous because of your anxiety, then you need to take steps to address it. And then it becomes a matter of talking to a professional, talking to your doctor, talking to a therapist, a psychiatrist, some adult that you trust, about the issue that you're having, and figuring out treatments for it. But if it's not like that, if it doesn't rise to that level, I do have some practical advice. And this is actually how I learned to drive. So I learned to drive partly from my parents. My parents did help, but I was at boarding school at the time. And I learned to drive mostly from my girlfriend. We did not stay together that long, but she's a very nice person. We actually made a video together. In which we, I think we officially broke. Oh God, why? How did you not score? Anyway, I think it was called Breaking Up with My High School Girlfriend. You can go watch it. It's funny. Anyway, she taught me to drive, and the way that she did it was she took me to a parking lot, and we drove around the parking lot many, many afternoons. And so we would go to an empty parking lot, and then she would let me drive her car, and I would just drive around the parking lot feeling extremely scared and nervous. And then I would drive, and then I started to drive in little 1-block circles around the parking lot, just getting used to the basics. I did have a learner's permit. There was nothing illegal about this. Come on, Vinny Thrill! Oh. I think Vinny Thrill is Dutch, so you would think that he'd be performing well in this game, but not so far. We need to make more substitutions. What this game needs is more substitutions. I want to bring on Alfie Egan. Why do I believe in him? I don't know. But I do. I do believe in him. I also want to take off Cuesta. Oh, I'm allowed to make as many substitutions as I want. Oh, Meredith, why don't we just bring on Kennedy just for fun? Okay, there we go. We made 5 substitutions in one game. That feels nice. So, baby steps is my advice. I find baby steps to be helpful in a lot of different places when it comes to anxiety. If you just break things down into their into tiny, tiny little parts. The example of this I always give is that I used to find it very nerve-wracking to send mail. I don't know why. Because I'm crazy. Oh! What the flippin' heck was that? It was cool, though. I used to find it very, very difficult to, get mail into the mailbox. I remember when I was applying for colleges, I wrote out the applications, typed them on a manual typewriter, did all of the, did everything, printed everything out in terms of my, essays and transcripts and everything. And, I did all of the parts, and then I had them in envelopes that were addressed that I could not put a stamp on and send. Oh my God. And send to the, into the mail. I couldn't get to that part. And it was so frustrating. And what I eventually had to do, and I mean, this is a little embarrassing and weird, but like eventually I just had to break it down into tiny, tiny little parts. Like, here is how we are going to affix the stamp. And here is how we are going to do this. And here is how we are going to walk to the mailbox. And, you know, each little part was given a place of its own. And if you do that, with driving, if you say like, okay, today I am going to drive, say, around the block at my house or in my neighborhood, and I'm going to stop at stop signs, and I'm going to try to observe, you know, this set of traffic rules, and then I'll be stressed out and I won't want to drive anymore, and then I won't drive again until tomorrow. And then tomorrow I'll do this. And if you just break it down like that, then maybe that's a way that you can become comfortable with the car, because you will over time become comfortable with the car. If anything, probably too comfortable with it. That was a good save by Raffo, but it doesn't matter. We're going to lose, and we're going to be out of the International Champions Cup. A hideous start to our first season in the second tier of English football. Unless we can make an incredible run right now, down the field he goes, pushed eventually to the ground, and then making an unnecessary slide tackle, and now the game will end. So that's my advice. I wish you luck. I do think that driving really does get easier the more you do it. It's one of those things that like genuinely does take practice, and I hope that you hold on to your, you know, like I hope that you hold on to a little bit of that feeling, because you should take it seriously. Come on, get there. Lyle, I needed you to run to the front post, my man. I needed you not run. I needed you to run. This has been the longest 2 minutes of stoppage time I've ever seen, but whatever, I'm into it. Let's just keep going. I needed Lyle to actually go front post there, and maybe they just need to win 2-0. Well, they have. Oh, congratulations to FC Twente. We've got a hill to climb, my friends. We've got a hill to climb. We need to sign some players. Yeah. Okay. Boy. All right. Any suggestions you have for acquisitions will be useful. Maybe I'll try to get their good player. All right, thanks for watching. Best wishes.